Hi there traders, this is Steve Miley, the market chartist on behalf of FX Explained, and it's our regular MacroWatch update of what's been going on the macroeconomic, geopolitical and central bank front over the last week in here and looking into the week commencing the 20th of January. We're certainly back in risk on theme as global equity markets push higher in here, an expectation of a continuation of the strength that we saw at the end of last year throughout Q4 really on that risk on theme. And we did remember kick off the year in here with global tensions in here, certainly in the Middle East between Iran and US with the airstrikes, but a quick de-escalation of those tensions has allowed us to focus back on the more positive outlook that we have going into the beginning of 2020. And that was reinforced this week by the signing of the phase one trade deal between the US and China. Although this had been pretty much priced into the markets in here, we must stress that this has really weighed on markets to a greater extent over the past 1 to 2 years in here. And so that has removed that uncertainty, at least for the near term, and that has allowed global equity markets, global risk on to continue into the beginning of 2020. A slight blip on the horizon has been the fact that the pound sterling has been under negative pressures, cable pushing lower in here last week as we've seen some more negative UK data, which has seen members of the Bank of England Monetary Policy Committee indicate potential for a rate cut. So some downside pressures in here for the pound, but generally speaking, equity markets pushing up to new multi-month, multi-year highs globally, and in the US moving to all-time highs. US dollar versus Japanese yen also pushing higher, and this has all been helped as well by the fact that earnings season in the US has kicked off in earnest over the past week. We've had very strong results already from the financial sector from Citigroup, Bank of America, JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley, and also from United Health in here, all are helping the major US equity indices to yet new all-time highs for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, S&P 500 and NASDAQ. So markets staying very, very strong, certainly in that risk off on theme, helping US dollar yen, as I say, push higher. It's up through that 110 level now, US dollar yen to multi-months higher. So the risk on theme certainly very much intact. And the other event in here we saw was on the geopolitical side, the US impeachment process continuing with the trial now set in motion in the Senate, as we have continued to stress though, this really at the moment not having too much of a significant impact on markets due to the fact that the expectation is that the Republicans will vote for the President Trump, and a 2/3 majority is needed in the Senate to impeach and convict Trump, and obviously the Republicans have control of the Senate. Let's take a look at the week ahead, the week commencing 20th of January, what we got coming up. Well, it's Martin Luther King Day, the Martin Luther King holiday on Monday, so US markets closed in here. But the focus on Wall Street as we go into the week will be on the earnings reports as we continue into the Q1 earnings season in here. We have American Express on Monday. Critically, Netflix on Tuesday, often seen as a barometer of the US consumer, so that's always a must watch. Also, IBM on Tuesday, Johnson & Johnson Wednesday, Intel and Comcast on Thursday, and Abbott Labs on Friday. On the central bank front, we have the Bank of Canada interest rate decision and statement on Wednesday, the European Central Bank decision and statement on Thursday, and the Bank of Japan monetary policy meeting minutes from their last meeting on Friday. On the macroeconomic front, we do have UK employment report on Tuesday, but the main focus we feel is going to be on Friday's release of preliminary data for January for the Market Global Purchasing Managers Index, data for manufacturing, services and composite. Remember, this is just preliminary data for January, but that will be much watch, we're sure on Friday. And then we also, don't forget, we have the World Economic Forum this week. That kicks off on Tuesday this week through Friday. Not expecting too much of that can probably impact on financial markets, but nevertheless, that should be monitored as we go through the week. And also any developments, potential developments in the Trump trial, the impeachment trial that we have going through the Senate. Here's a quick run through of what we have coming up for the week. So that Martin Luther King holiday, US market closed Monday. Davos World Economic Forum begins Tuesday through to Friday. The UK employment report also Tuesday in the German ZEW survey. Canadian CPI on Wednesday, followed by the Bank of Canada interest rate decision. Australian employment report Thursday, followed by the ECB interest rate decision, and then New Zealand CPI. And we finish off the week with the Bank of Japan meeting minutes on Friday, and that market, manufacturing services and composite preliminary data, PMI data, to finish the week off on Friday. I'm going to wish you traders all a great trading week, and don't forget to catch us on our next Macro Watch. So traders, don't forget to catch us on the next FX Explained Macro Watch and all the great content on fxexplained.co.uk.